Hello, folks. So I've got some catching up to do, and we're starting out with Who Would Win. And today's Who Would Win comes to us from a combination of Timo the Savage, CJ Marung. Again, I may have gotten that last name wrong. I know. I mentioned your when I did your suggestion a while ago. No, I did it a couple times. You said I got it right the second time. I'd have to rewatch the video to know what that was. Anthony Dahl, Dylan. Dylan, Huranzi. I'm messing up your last name here at the moment, Dylan. Where is your last name? Dylan. Hey, Dylan. Wowzy. Forgive me. The last name's a little confusing on that one. I apologize. And one other person, Aaron Mad Dog O'Reilly. So yeah, a lot of people giving this one. That's because it's a common one that's often suggested. It's one of the big. Technically, I only consider there to be three big slashers in horror movies. You can make an argument that Leatherface maybe falls into that category, but ultimately for me, it's Freddy, Jason, and Michael. And this is obviously Jason versus Michael Myers. So to do this, again, we gotta go. There's multiple versions of these characters now. So we're going to be doing a lot of comparisons. Fortunately, it shouldn't be that long of a video, surprisingly, because I've already done Jason and Michael a couple times. But for Jason, there's the standard Jason we got throughout the series, and he basically turned into zombie Jason, and we realize he's possessed and all that. Then there's just kind of zombie Jason that we have with the Freddy versus Jason. Then there's Uber Jason from space, and then there's Human Jason. So there's technically 4 Jason Voorheeses we're going to use. Just to go over Jason, he drowned in Camp Crystal Lake, and excuse me, he died at Camp Crystal Lake. Well, he didn't die. He supposedly drowned, came back to avenge his mother, was killed multiple times, and then brought back. He's, in terms of main series Jason, he basically couldn't be killed except by a Voorhees with a blade. Even if you blew him up and all that stuff, if something would possess you to consume a part of his body, as it did with the coroner, and to consume his heart, and get possessed by Jason until he found a suitable host to be reborn. Jason's physically just a juggernaut of strength, more or less. We don't know actually how strong he is, but we know he's strong enough to lift the grown person over his shoulder, no problem, crush heads, rip off car doors. He's incredibly strong, burst through doors. Wields his trademark machete, but he's also come to use other weapons at the same time. He's actually become quite skilled at using just on-the-fly weapons. Then we go to Zombie Jason, who's pretty much the same Jason, minus, I think, even though I think Freddy vs. Jason is supposedly, because Jason X ends with Freddy taking Jason's mask. So you can make an argument they're connected. But Zombie Jason is pretty much normal Jason, minus the possession thing. Minus basically like the evil spirit of the Voorhees curse or whatever. Minus that. Again, highly durable, but at the same time, he can be injured. Like he got his fingers cut off, he got his eyes gouged, but they grew back. Again, wields a machete, strong enough to snap a bed pretty much in two and break someone's back doing that. Basically, also strong enough to have a giant pole skewer someone and then throw someone like a good 20, 30 feet away. So he's quite a powerhouse, but he's also, in almost every version of him, slow as F. So Jason's a slow dude, and that Jason's no exception. And then you cut over to, Uber Jason, basically Mecha Jason. And that's when Jason basically got blown up, got reconstructed with nanos and cybernetics, and became uber. Like, he's pretty much a machine. He's a machine now, the man, twisted and insane. But yeah, he was withstand gunfire, no problem. He could survive the vacuum of space. Basically, explosions weren't doing anything to him, and it's implied that he might have even survived re-entry onto the new planet Earth. So, implied, mind you. So, he was extremely durable. His strength, I mean, what's there to say about his strength at that point? His strength is probably he could probably lift about a ton if he really wanted to. And of course he wielded a machete. And then Human Jason. Human Jason is the only Jason that is not that not just can but does actually run and move extremely fast, like a scary amount of fast. So basically he's still he's actually the weakest one of them because he is human. But he lives off the land. He knows like the tunnel system in Camp Crystal Lake. He's still capable of using machete. Using quite fast when he strikes. He's a dangerous person. Something on the fact that he actually does move fast, and he's again huge dude, is heavily built, but at the same time, he's the only one that's actually human and really capable of being killed. So there's that. Michael Myers. There's technically 3 versions of Michael we can use. We can use, and I'm not gonna. And when I say 3, there is the newest one, but the newest one is just the Michael from the original movie. So, and he's just an older guy. So really, it makes no sense to use that Michael really when we can use. And to be fair, it's not like he really anything changed about him except the fact he's older. It's a little spoiler. If you didn't tell me or show me that this was an older Michael, I probably wouldn't have believed, or I probably wouldn't have put it together, with the exception that Jamie Lee Curtis is older too. You could have had a young stand-in for Jamie Lee Curtis and told me, oh, wait, this is taking place this many years later. Oh, really? I wouldn't have known. He still acts exactly the same. So Michael Myers, obviously, he's the boogeyman. Now, if you go by the original series, you've got the original Michael. He's the boogeyman. He's a human, but he's also well, actually, we can pretty much just cut it down to 2 Michaels, because there's a Rob Zombie Michael and there's the original series Michael. And really, I mean, yeah, H.T. Owens Wrestling got rid of the Cult of Thorn stuff, and the Cult of Thorn stuff came out after the original Halloween, but really, we'll just we'll just use the Cult of Thorn one. So Michael Myers is the boogeyman. He's surprised that he's extremely stealthy, and he's not an idiot either. He's not dumb. So he's actually quite intelligent for what it is. He's capable of actually laying some not laying a trap, but setting things up to kill people with. Obviously, he usually carries a knife on him, but he'll kill you with just about anything. He's also extremely strong, capable of lifting a grown man with just one arm. Capable of doing like a 1-arm reverse pull-up to get down from somewhere. Capable of breaking your neck with just his hands. So he's extremely strong. He's also surprisingly durable too, and that's probably in part due to the Cult of Thorn powers that go through him. They made him pretty much a uncorruptible evil, pure uncorrupted evil, as it were. I think as it was referred to. But he's still capable of being injured. He can just regenerate from it. So, but he's also got his limits. Fire seems to be a big proponent to him. He can definitely be put down by fire. I have to assume you take his head off, he's going to be killed. Because no one has ever injured him that greatly in the movies. At best, he had some chainsaw slices, and they didn't go through him of that much. They kind of just bounced off him. But then again, it was also a college age girl who did not have a lot of physical strength to her, kind of unwieldingly using a chainsaw, not actually trying to grind into him or anything, like just kind of like bouncing off him and things along those lines. So you take that for what it is. But yes, if you could theoretically take his head off, I'm sure that would kill him. Cult of Thorn magic be damned. But he's also what's the best way to put it? He's also very diverse, because while the knife is his main weapon, he will kill you with just about anything he's got on call, and do it to very dangerous effect. And he's actually smart enough to understand that, hey, I'm going to stick a syringe in this nurse's head, fill it with air, and then give her a super embolism right there. So he's smart enough to understand how kind of the body works on some level too. Rob Zombie Michael Myers is just a large dude with. I think in fact, didn't he get killed in the last movie? Which was terrible. I actually okay. Here's the thing. I've seen reviews. I've seen the movie in bits and pieces. And what I can say is that Rob Zombie's I like Rob Zombie's music, but as a director, not a fan. I'm not a fan of any of his movies at all. I'll admit, House of a Thousand Corpses did its trick. It made me uneasy, but I think that's partly because I'm like, I don't like this movie. It is unsettling, and I think that maybe is what he was going for, and if that's the case, bravo. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I don't think this is a good movie. Anyway, so yeah, the Rob Zombie one is literally just a guy, actually big and brutal guy, but a guy who's got a who was shown, especially in the second one, to have serious psychosis. That is all. He's a big dude who will try to kill you. That's it. So, okay, let's break this down. I've got 4 Jasons, main series, Uber, Zombie, Jason, and I got 2 Michael Myers. All right, let's do the Michael Myers first. So, let's do human Michael Myers from the Rob Zombie ones first. So, against Rob Zombie Michael Myers versus main series Jason Voorhees. This fight takes place, let's say they just collide going after the same girl. And they collide, and, they both kind of look at each other. I think every time these guys basically confront each other, they kind of would be confused, like, mask, okay, weapon, you're in my way, so that's how they fight. Now, both these guys are not really fast. However, Rob Zombie Michael is kind of like the rebooted human Jason. He can move fast if he wants to. I mean, you can make an argument that they could all move fast if they want to, but at the same time, it's implied there's probably a reason they do walk slow. So Michael Myers would be the one who probably is quicker to actually move towards Jason than Jason to him. So at that point, he's probably not as strong as Jason, because at that point Jason is supernatural. But at the same time, he would be powerful enough to at least go par to par with Jason. The problem is Jason does have a machete. Now the machete probably hits Michael Myers, and it probably goes in deep, but Michael is injured, but keeps going. Starts to stab Jason in the neck. Jason grabs him, and they're kind of struggling for a while. And then Michael just, pulls the machete out, stabs Jason. Jason still just pulls it back out and just, chops at Michael. Again, Michael's trying to get a kind of backpedal, trying to, stab at Jason, but Jason's just, going to cut him down and stab at him for a while. And problem is that Rob Zombie Michael is human. Jason at that point is not human anymore. And Jason can't actually be truly killed without like a Voorhees, which Michael is not. So Rob Zombie Michael loses that fight. Against Uber Jason, Rob Zombie Michael seriously loses that fight because he has no method of hurting that Jason. He could try to put a knife into the fleshy part. Maybe that goes slink. Oh, I got a little bit of a cut. And Jason just punches a hole straight through him because he could do that. He punched the android's head off, for God's sake. And that's a machine. So, yeah, Rob Zombie Michael does not have any way of hurting Uber Jason. Go to Zombie Jason. That's a trickier one, because Zombie Jason is severely powerful, and that Jason does have a slight fear of water, because we're talking Zombie Jason and Freddy versus Jason, and that Jason did have a fear of water on some level. Though I'm guessing his fear of water is just due to memories, because we see him go in water all the time in the movie. He doesn't have the biggest issue with water overall. Like, oh yeah, I'm stuck in this water, I'm going to walk out of it. But at the same time, I've still got a phobia of it. I don't know the exact thing about it. Anyway, so that Jason again. That Jason would still be probably the stronger and harder to put down, but I think the Rob Zombie Michael actually would have a legitimate chance against that Michael, or that Jason. Only because he is actually a pretty physically powerful guy as well, and he can move fast when he wants to. Problem is he usually just has a blade on him. That's it. So, like a blade, a knife on him, a big kitchen knife, but compared to a machete, which this one has, that's not saying a lot. Still, he's probably durable enough to take a one machete hit and keep going. I will say that if Michael could maybe stab him in the head a couple times and maybe just cut his neck off, that's possible, but that's unlikely. I still got to go with Zombie Jason. Human Myers versus Human Jason. We've seen that Human Jason moves a lot faster than Michael. And that's probably going to play the factor in this, that he's actually the faster of two, and he's actually capable of moving fast to get away from him. But in terms of like brutality, that's a tougher thing to actually say. Yeah, Jason roasted a woman over a fire in that one. So it's one of those things that I don't know if, Jason being faster is going to actually play the deciding factor in this, simply because of the fact that Rob Zombie's Michael could move fast if he really wanted to. He was just a slow mover. But in terms of like actual psychosis, I actually would put Michael Myers a bit more on the fucked up side than Jason. See, Jason is more like we know he was mentally retarded on some level, but he's more like a mentally retarded abuse victim that then goes to become a psychotic serial killer. And you can make an argument that he's not psychotic either. So, I mean, he's definitely a sociopath and all that, but you can just make the argument that he's a scared kid deep down who's just, reacting. And the only way he knows how to survive is to kill people. So, ultimately, yeah, I would say that because of how brutal comparatively Rob Zombie's Michael is, if the fight actually came to close quarters and he could get a machete, if he can disarm Jason with Jason's machete, then I actually might lean towards Michael Myers on that one. Jason also has like a hunting knife on him as well, but it's actually not as big as the kitchen knife. It's a better knife overall, but yeah. I think I would actually maybe lean towards Michael Myers, Rob Zombie Michael Myers versus the Human Jason. Now, against the main series one, this one I can go a lot faster on. Jason would have a harder time putting down Michael Myers from the main series because Michael Myers is actually, he's the boogeyman, and he's got mystical powers that keep him from regenerating. But again, take off the head, I'd have to argue that it would be probably the only effective way to kill Michael Myers, and Jason does have the actual tool at hand to take off someone's head. So while, again, Michael Myers just doesn't have something that can put Jason down, whereas Jason has something that could probably put Michael down. Move over to Uber Jason, again, Michael Myers, despite being the main series and probably the stronger of the two with the whole Cult of Thorn thing, can't take down Uber Jason simply because he has nothing that he can take down Uber Jason with. Then move over to Zombie Jason. That would be a pretty drawn out fight, I'd think. Again, if he could find a way to just get rid of Jason's machete and go to like fist to fist and like physicality, that would be a tough one, I'd think. I think they'd actually be almost on par durability wise at that point. I think Jason might have the edge in strength, but in terms of persistence, Michael Myers is possibly even more persistent than Jason is. So it's tough to make that call, but I might lean towards Michael Myers on that one. And then if you go Human Jason versus Michael Myers, I'll actually go Human Jason simply on the grounds that he moves faster than Michael Myers and again has a tool at hand to take his head off, which I would imagine is the only real effective way of killing him. So yeah, ultimately I think the winner overall is Jason Voorhees. I think Jason is one, simply because the majority of versions of Jason we have versus the few versions of Michael we have are much harder to put down than Michael is. Michael is hard to put down, but he's capable of being put down easier than Jason is. With, main series Jason, only the blood of a Voorhees can kill him. Basically, someone of Voorhees' bloodline could kill him. With Uber Jason, he's pretty much capable of at least lasting a while in re-entry, which he's bulletproof. He's all that. Michael just doesn't have the equipment to kill him. With Zombie Jason, that he's again the regeneration and just how hard it is to put him down. And Human Jason, he's the fastest. He's faster than probably any of the other versions of any of these characters. So I'm gonna have to long term go with Jason Voorhees. I'll say though there's a solid 20% chance though I'd say that Michael Myers could beat him, depending on which forms are going up against which, or which versions are going up against which. Well, that went longer than I intended, but thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. So the week of who would win. I still got who would wins to do. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.